It has felt like an eternity since the last Grand Arena season. We've just got past 3v3, and now we're heading back into 5v5, and I'm here to prepare you guys for the new meta and the upcoming season. Check it out. What is up, Knights of X, and welcome to the best 5v5 team for the month of November and the 5v5 season coming up in Grand Arena. Very interesting season coming up, guys. We have a whole new set of pirates with Maz Kanata to deal with and work with. Greatly going to impact the meta. We saw how powerful they were in 3v3. And I just think that was the little bit of a sneak peek of their true potential in 5v5. There's going to be so many different variations of these pirates and different team comps that are going to be really nuts for this season. So if you guys haven't seen these types of videos before from me, I like to split this up into 3 separate categories. The best defensive list, offensive list, and my favorite category, flex, which allows you to honestly, depending on how you're scouting your opponent or how you want to change up your game plan, those teams can go on either offense or defense depending on your game plan. So that's really exciting about that part of that category, is there's so much you can do. And the one thing about this video that I like to do, that I've been starting to do a little bit different in the past couple ones, is I like to list the same couple teams twice in a row to show different variations of that squad, because it is a pretty long season, 3 weeks, different metas. Your opponent's going to scout you. You got to change it up a bit. So we're going to see a couple repeats throughout the sector, a couple of 2 different types of squads with different characters and certain purposes as to why I'm picking them. So we're going to get right into it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy this content. If you do, don't forget to leave a like and comment down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. That is the best way to support me, guys. I really do appreciate it. But let's get the best 5v5 list started with the best defensive teams and see what we're cooking with. Starting things right with the best defensive teams for November in 5v5. We got to talk about it, guys. This is going to be a pair combo that I'm going to show you. Pirate King Hondo Onaka. He's going to be a clear staple on defense this season. Brand new Galactic Legend, exclusive Datacron set for Pirates, which make them very strong, but not unbeatable. So we got to talk about it. The first squad that I want to talk about is going to be Pirate King Hondo with OG Hondo in the lineup with his level 9. Vayne, Silvo, and Brutus. OG Hondo is still very strong as a character, especially with the level 9 Datacron. The amount of ransom he's gaining and protection up, he's very hard to take out. He's going to hit extremely hard, and he's got good utility with Captive. This could shut down a bunch of counters like you're going to see later on. Commander Luke Skywalker with the Rolocron will absolutely walk over a Pirate King Hondo team without OG Hondo, and then the next team we're going to talk about with Nest. So a little bit of variation with that, but Nest could definitely shut down CLS. But I think your go-to, if you don't want to use OG Hondo with any other team, keep him with Pirate King Hondo Onaka. It will shut down some of that off-meta stuff that you don't want to lose to. Unfortunately, OG Hondo is like needed in so many different squads this season. You got to pick and choose your poison a little bit with him, because he's so versatile and strong, especially with the Datacron set in his level 9. So I think that's going to be a good standard for 5v5. Next is going to be the Nest variant, and this is exclusively to shut down Commander Luke Skywalker, because you do not want your brand new Galactic Legend to get taken down by CLS with the Rolocron. So that's another thing that's going to be so huge this season, is where you're going to use the Rolocron, because there's so many different variations with like Bo-Katan. Doesn't need it with she doesn't need the Rolocron with to take out Lord Vader, but still some players might not have the team modded optimally to take out Lord Vader. So a big question is going to be the Rolocron. But the point of Nest is that if you know your opponent is going to utilize CLS to take out your Hondo, Nest will definitely cause issues. It could be a timeout if they get stuck with the turn meter and the tenacity, they land tenacity down, you're going to get stuck in a loop. So be cautious if you're going to run CLS against Hondo. That's the whole point of putting Nest into this lineup. So 2 different variations. Now we got to talk about another combo of a pair that I like to include all the time. And in my opinion, this is the most annoying race squad to deal with that will shut down certain counters. And that's going to be Ray Ben, Barris, General Kenobi, and Cal Kestis. So with Barris, every time your team gets crit, you're going to heal. General Kenobi is a very good tank that provides critical hit immunity on your team. Once the critical hit immunity is on your team and you don't have a way of dispelling that buff, Ray's Inspire is going to skyrocket, because you need to crit her to remove her Inspire. That's going to be a pain in the butt. And Cal, with an unaligned Force User tag, grants an annoying protection up, makes a team a buttload more healthy with max health gains. This tied with Ray's level 9 or just the Ufu Wordy level 6 is going to be very annoying to deal with. Just because there's a whole Wordy Ufu level 6 doesn't mean the whole team has to be Ufus. I think that is by far the most annoying team to deal with that's not with Ezra. If you guys don't want to use that team, you can use something like Shorty with L3. Still think that's very beatable compared to this team, but if you guys don't feel like using Kenobi with this and Cal, that's another option. But your second team, which I think is going to destroy Ahsoka, but if you don't have Ahsoka unlocked and you have Ezra, slot in Ezra instead of Cal. Cal could be put back on your Ufu team, like with Vegeta, like Malicos and Starkiller. So Ezra, probably one of the top 2 best Conquest characters in the game, without a doubt. Arguably number 1. So freaking annoying, especially, guys, if you put the Rolocron on defense with this team. My God, pain in the butt. We saw how it was in 3v3. It's going to be really obnoxious in 5v5 as well. So keep an eye on these 2 squads. Now we got to talk about a GL that just kind of got a little bit of a buff recently with her new event. But still, doesn't mean that she's going to be overpowered in Grand Arena without her actual Galactic Legend, Ezra Bridger. So first team we got to talk about, Ahsoka with Ezra and the rest of the remaining squad that's normal. If you're going to set this team, look at your opponent's Great Mother squad, because if they outspeed, that's going to be an issue. You don't want that to happen. So if you're going to set Ahsoka with Ezra and they're faster, make sure you set a 25% Termitacron, because it is not worth it for your GL Ahsoka to be taken out by a Great Mother team. So that's going to be your typical standard Ahsoka team this season. She's practically really bad without him, unfortunately. But if you were to set her, I spelled her name wrong here, by the way. The correct spelling is below it, so that's on me. But the other variation of the squad is going to be with Wat Tambor, because this will not be unbeatable, but it will shut down a number of other squads like Bo-Katan without the Rolocron and a bunch of other ones. So you got to keep an eye on Ahsoka with Wat. Got to be cautious of a timeout risk. She's a tank. She gets that protection up and permataunt. So that's probably the second best variation of Ahsoka. If you set Ahsoka without Wat or Ezra, she's literal cannon fodder. You don't want to do it. That's going to lead it into a somewhat of a super team that's not going to be as strong as it was in the previous 5v5 season with the Hermit Yoda Datacron, but still a team not to take lightly. This is going to be a team that you set to kind of throw off your opponent a little bit. They're not expecting to see JMK on defense because JMK is kind of useless now with Balin in the mix. Balin absolutely walks over a JMK squad, but with Ezra in there, it is not as easy. So this is not an easy team to beat. You got to be smart. You got to bring in some off-meta stuff that could possibly work if you have it modded correctly. But JMK Ezra is still a powerful squad for every now and then. Not your go-to for every match, but you can slip it in there every now and then. You might see that from me this season. Then we got to talk about one of the newest epic confrontation characters to the game, Mace Windu. And to be honest with you, I'm setting him on defense because I have not found a proper use for him on offense yet. Yes, he's good at taking out Zori Resistance. I have done that in the previous seasons, but I think his biggest use right now is to pull a Sith team. Like, if that's Mace's use in Grand Arena, fine. I'm going to try to get you to use your Traya or your Malgus on my Mace so I could shut down a counter in the back that you would want to use them for. So that's kind of seems to be Mace's purpose right now. So I'm going to recommend him on defense because it's going to pull a Sith team. He's not overpowered, but still a decent enough to pull a good counter. So that's why I'm putting him on defense. Next up, we got Bad Batch. And this team almost, can't really underestimate. If you do, you're going to get dropped. And a lot of the time, you're going to see opponents use JML against it. So if you could try to bait your opponent to use JML on your Bad Batch, that's a win for you. Maybe shuts down something in the back. Like if you're going to set a sneaky Maz Kanata team in the back and they don't have JML, that could potentially cause an issue for you. So Bad Batch, I think, definitely going to be on defense. Can they be used on offense to take out Queen Amidala? Absolutely. I just think we're going to see Queen Amidala way more on offense this season, to be honest with you. She could have a use on defense with the Rolocron, but I still think Bad Batch is going to be better on defense this season. Now we got to talk about Trench. And to be honest with you, Trench, I have seen performances of Trench doing well against GLs in Squad Arena, but without any Grand Arena Omicrons, I don't know how it's going to perform with other GLs that have Grand Arena Omicrons. So you could potentially be able to take out Ahsoka, but with a triple Omicron Ezra, I don't know. We're going to have to see. But on defense, I think he's going to be absolutely annoying with his Focus Datacron. He gets a bunch of different stats, Dooku has the potential to go through an unlimited turn meter loop or bonus turn loop with his stuns that could be very dangerous and annoying to deal with. Jango's going to be assisting all the time with those abilities, hitting for 50% more damage. Watambor with the tech, Newt with the extortion, Trench got an upgrade this season, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do on defense. Now we got to talk about Saw, and Saw is another team that benefits really well from the Rolocron. If you guys don't plan on using your Phoenix against Reva, slip in Captain Rex instead of Chirrut. I think Baze is a really good tank to have. Kyle Katarn is one of your biggest damage dealers, so Captain Rex is going to be useful here if you're not going to use him with a Inquisitor against an Inquisitor squad with Phoenix, so that's why he's not listed here. But Saw with his Omicron, you can't take lightly. So freaking strong. Now, this is going to be the last couple teams for defense, and I'm going to show you a pair. I'm going to explain why. The first one is going to be a staple for you because it's a very good team. Night Sister modded for max health is going to hit like a truck. Grand Inquisitor is really good with his utility, with his torture, his ability blocks, Reva with her heal immunity. If you get the right amount of assists with this team, Night Sister is going to be doing really well. The problem is that Phoenix can take it out. There is a degree of RNG if you don't land that daze on 7 Sisters, so there is a little bit of a risk. But if you for the most part, you go with the Phoenix team and everything works right, it's going to get taken down by Phoenix, and you simply do not want that. So if you're going to set it on the defense, just get ready for that risk. If you guys want to really make sure that Phoenix doesn't get rid of it, Marok is going to be your answer. This bug is still not fixed by CG. There's some interaction where he prevents Phoenix from being able to take it out. The problem with this is as well, you're breaking up your Balin squad, so don't expect to use Balin at full capacity if you do it. If you really want your Inquisitors to get a hold of it and not drop the Phoenix, that's the way to do it. So that is going to wrap up the defensive list. We're now going to move on to the offensive. Time to start the offensive list, and how can we not start with Wampa and her focus Datacron? I mean, this Datacron was, by me, greatly underestimated. I think it's really strong and can really allow Wampa to punch up against really strong squads like Jabba, or even other really powerful teams like Saw Gerrera sometimes. So Wampa, definitely going to have a use. The thing is that her Datacron is also a really good utility for some certain teams. Since the Kyber 1 map is so small, you might not be able to use Wampa, but if you can, utilize it, because those extra banners can definitely come in clutch in a tight matchup, especially in Kyber 1. So Wampa, full-blown, going to be used this season. That leaves to the next team, and it's Kenobi, and the main reason why Kenobi is on offense is because you do not want to get taken out by Balin. Balin pretty much eliminated Kenobi off of defense, unfortunately, until Kenobi gets a Lifter 2.0 or a new, clone team or something like that down the future. It's going to be hard for him to perform without Ezra in the lineup on defense because he's just going to get walked over by Balin. That's the honest truth. And on offense, he's got good banner recovery. You can really control the utility with CAD and the passing of the turns and Mace. I think he's going to be good for taking out Jabba. He's going to be good for taking out other different squads for really good banners. So that's why Kenobi's on offense. How can we not talk about Leia? And this is going to be a pair because we have to talk about a focus Datacron we're going to mention later on. But your typical Leia squad that you're going to utilize all the time is going to be Leia, Drogon, R2, Radish, and Jyn. Simply because of the fact you can absolutely cheese the mechanic of putting the stealth on everyone but Jyn, and it protects your entire squad. She can literally not go down unless Radish is defeated. So if you go against a really tough Ahsoka team or a Rey squad, and you want to make sure you survive, that is the cheese mechanic with this team. So that's a staple for Leia all the time. But if you're planning on using Radish with the focus Datacron, you're going to have to split up the team a little bit or break it up. So I'm going to be recommending Old Ben with Mon Mothma. I don't currently use Mon Mothma in Kyber 1 that often. And Old Ben is mostly on the bench because I combine Starkiller with Vegito. So he's a pretty solid tank for the team. And Mon Mothma's got good health and protection recovery. You can spawn a decoy. And it's pretty good. It's pretty good to have. So that is going to be strictly for offense. That is not for defense. Now we got to talk about Jedi Master Luke. And way too many vulnerabilities on defense. Really good at cheesing stuff on offense. Got really good banner recovery with Hermit Yoda. Cal is not good on defense with his AI. You can insta-kill someone. He's just very good at controlling certain battles. But he is just literal trash on defense. I can't recommend him on defense at all. Really good on offense, though. Leaves to the next pair, Bane, guys. You know the deal. I don't have to explain myself. Bane is not a defensive toon. He is a offensive powerhouse, a GL level conquest character. You pair him with Sith Empire Trooper, who I think is your best second. You can take out squads like Queen Amidala, Inquisitors, sometimes SLKR, number of different Galactic Legends. He's amazing. I mean, do we really have to talk about Bane? He's one of the best characters in this game and a staple for offense always. Leading to his Galactic Legend pair or lifter unit that he's supposed to lift, which can get you out of a pinch. Sith Eternal Bane, very good to go with. Kind of is a super team that if you need that extra banner recovery, a good 68 banner win, or just take out a super powerful GL squad, that is the duo to do it. I highly recommend you split them up for your best case scenario, but you can't negate the fact that they have good synergy together. And we got to talk about Malgus. And Malgus, with the release of Maz Kanata, Sith are going to have a seriously hard time on defense now because that really opens up the floodgates to just being absolutely pwned by Maz Kanata. So Malgus is going to be on offense for me. He's got good banner recovery with Darth Revan. He's good at controlling the battle, and he's actually a really fun character to use. So Malgus's days on defense are really coming to an end, unfortunately, especially with Maz Kanata. But I do like using him. He's good at taking out a number of different squads. Got to utilize Malgus. And the team I'm going to talk about next is going to be a OG Starkiller team, because this team could receive a resurgence. We do have a Visas level 9. I don't think it's going to come into handy that often this season, but the Ufu level 6 is pretty good. And also we have a level 3 still for cooldown reduction on the level, for debuffs. That could work really well with Mara Jade. She could be getting her AoE stagger and tenacity up a bunch because of that level 3. So maybe Starkiller makes a comeback and doesn't need Malicos this season. Listing it here just in case. Guys, we gotta talk about Bo-Katan. I mean, Rolocron transforms her into a absolute destructive, annihilating machine gun with a death by 1,000 cuts. But it's not even 1,000 cuts. It's like death by like 5 cuts because they hit so hard and so many times. It's insane. Can take out Lord Vader. You take out Balin, so many different squads. You don't really need the Rolocron with her to take out Lord Vader, like I said earlier. But Bo-Katan, offensive in 5v5, good banner recovery, very solid utility. And that leaves to the next option you can use with the Rolocron. That's going to be CLS. And like I said in the beginning, CLS with the Rolocron against certain Hondo lineups can take out the brand new Galactic Legend Hondo. So you got to really make sure when you set your Hondo on defense, make sure it's not CLS proof, but CLS regardless, very good. He doesn't need the Rolocron for certain other squads. He does have a level 9 with the Ufus. Doesn't benefit the entire team, but it does benefit him. I still think CLS is very good in 5v5 and still used in Kyber 1. I really like this team. I always have to mention Night Sisters because they can be used to take out Jabba. I actually have never been able to utilize it because I never had the Omicron on Marin. But I applied it a couple weeks ago, so maybe a couple matchups I try to get a little bit of a feel for it and try to get it to work. But Night Sisters still very good in Grand Arena. Good banner recovery with Plague and Marin, but specifically very important for Jabba. Now we got to talk about the next offensive team, Phoenix, and specifically the 5th needs to be the Brood Alpha, because if you're taking out Inquisitors, which is the primary use for them, that spawn is going to get 5 stacks of Purge. They're not going to get the tenacity up, so that's going to help your chances. It's going to be a better banner recovery for you, or better banner loss, because there's too much RNG if you put L3 and you lose banners, and you cannot put Kanan because there's a chance of your Rex getting tortured and the counter is kaput. So I think your best fit is Brood Alpha. You're going to see me use this against a couple of Inquisitor squads this season. Next up, I think DTMG is good to include on this list because he can take out a number of different squads like General Grievous with Stap, which is a primary use for him. He does have good banner recovery with Moff Gideon's second special, and Scout Trooper has really good control of the battle with staggers, good ramping damage on the middle special. So I still like to include DTMG. Not as good as he once was when he was first released, but still used in Kyber 1 today. Then we have Afra, and Afra is definitely a candidate for the Shorty Datacron because of all the droid synergy. She's very good. Definitely not as good as her Focus Datacron, unfortunately, but paired with B2, possibly able to take out Jabba. The buff immunity is extremely helpful against that counter. Get your damage from DT1, your utility from 000. And if you have the 3 Omicron Afro, which I've done recently, she actually gets crazy siphon and hits pretty hard. I had a crazy battle once in the previous season where I got it to work, and it was really exciting. So Afro can definitely get you out of a pinch. Now we got to talk about Radis with the focused Datacron, and I do think this is going to be more of an offensive team because of Wampa. The Wampa focused Datacron is going to be shutting down all these fun Datacrons because of how powerful it is. So for this particular season, you're going to see a bunch of squads that are eventually going to be very good on defense, but just not quite yet because of Wampa. This would be a perfect example. I think Radis on defense when Wampa is gone is going to be good, but in the meantime for this season, Radis will be definitely used on offense and be able to get some good mana recovery. Can cheese maybe an Inquisitor squad if you get the death mark on Radis. You can definitely cheese it out because Radis can't go down unless K2SO is down. So you might see some sort of cool little cheeses with that. We're going to try it out. Might not be guaranteed, but definitely an offensive team. And that's going to leave the Mandalorians. I think the Mandalorians are better used on offense because you can actually cheese certain mechanics with it and just control Maul's cooldown increase and his anguish stacks. I think the team is better utilized on offense without a Mandalorian Datacron. Great synergy with all, the Mandalorians. You got your Super Commando, which is going to hit like a truck on the counterattacks, and Canderous is a really good damage dealer. Can't go wrong with the Mandalorian team on offense. And that's going to lead to the next one. And again, a team I just can't quite set on defense yet because of Wampa. I think Wampa's going to hit way too hard. There is a potential for a timeout if you include Shore Trooper. So maybe Shore Trooper causes some issues. I don't know. I still think, in theory, that Wampa is going to hit way too hard and destroy this team, even with the focused Datacron. So I'm going to recommend on offense, if you're going to use Iden, she can be pretty good. She's going to have a permanent taunt if any of your squad or allies go down. And a ranged trooper is kind of like get me out of jail free card kind of thing. And it's going to ramp up your damage to drastic numbers. And Iden's going to hit crazy hard. So that's going to wrap up the final team on the offensive list. We're not going to go into my favorite category, the flex. Starting with the flex category, this one's going to be interesting because you're going to want to use this team on defense, but he can definitely help you with some banner recovery and some pretty tough teams that need to be dealt with. Supreme Leader Kylo Ren with Hux, Sith Trooper, Special Forces TIE Pilot, and Dark Side Rey. This can be pretty good against a number of different squads like Ahsoka, Rey, Pirate King Hondo. You just got to be a little careful with the Sith synergy against Pirate King Hondo. So if you want to swap out your Sith Trooper with First Order Stormtrooper or your crew as a tank, you can absolutely do that. I just think the more damage is very nice to have on offense. You're going to get your banner recovery with Dark Side Rey in the third special. You can really get more banner recovery with the Special Forces TIE Pilot level 9 if you defeat a stunned enemy. So I think the extra damage is very nice here. But if you want to throw in a tank, recommend swapping out Sith Trooper with crew. But even on defense, very tough team to deal with. No joke. Not as strong as the Dark Side Rey focused Datacron. I hope we never get something like that again. But very solid team. Very good on offense and defense. And that's going to lead to the next team, Lord Vader clones. And this one's going to be tricky. Guys, I wish I could recommend Lord Vader for defense permanently, but I can't because of two reasons. Number one, Bo-Katan with the Rolocron makes it an absolute joke. No joke. But the plus is if you get your opponent to use the Rolocron with Bo, that leaves other counters vulnerable for them. But the next thing is possibly Maz Kanata. We saw Maz Kanata absolutely walk over Lord Vader in 3v3. It could be the exact same in 5v5 if you can get past the Scorch Taunt. That's the only tricky thing, is can you get past Scorch Taunt? But regardless, he is very good on offense because he's got really good offensive capabilities against non-GLs, because you can't get rid of Apo unless Lord Vader is down. So you can kind of cheese that mechanic a little bit, and you can kind of utilize the Order 66 better on offense. But on defense, if your opponent has different capabilities or different uses for the Rolocron, he could be pretty strong on defense with the Dark Side Max Elder Protection 3. He's going to get a boatload of stats, but still, I think Bo-Katan will walk over Lord Vader. But regardless, still going to be used on offense and defense regardless. Next up, Jabba. And Jabba is specifically in flex because you cannot set him on defense without the Shorty Datacron. If you do, Wampa's going to Wamp. And we don't want Wampa to Wamp on a GL like that. So Jabba is actually going to be very good at taking out Balin squads on offense, and a number of different other annoying squads. I believe it took out a Pirate King Hano last season with a Datacron. I don't think it was as pretty. It was a little sketchy, but still possible. So it definitely has a use on offense as well. But on defense, do not set it without the Shorty Kron. You don't want to get Wampa soloed. But Jabba, without a doubt, being used. Next up, we're going to talk about is a pair of a combo. 2 Maz Kanata teams. And the first one I'm recommending is going to be the Santa Staros level 9 because she's going to get an AoE Fear. That's pretty strong to have. And if you have the Wordy Pirate Datacron or even the Damage Reduction 6, that's pretty strong to utilize and to deal with. So on defense, it could be very strong. On offense, it might be even stronger against GLs like Lord Vader or a Traya squad or a Malgus going to walk over Sith. And that's why I wouldn't even recommend setting Sith Eternal on defense ever anymore. Because if you ever did, he wasn't that strong of a defensive GL anyway. But Maz Kanata is going to literally walk over the Sith no matter what. On defense, there's not a lot of data yet on 5v5 format. And she has 3 GAC Omicrons. So I'm very excited to see how this team is going to perform. You'll be seeing me fluctuate between offense and defense, definitely with her. But 2 different lineups. If you don't have the Santa Staros level 9, I'm recommending SM33 because it is a conquest character. He's not being utilized in the Hondo squad because putting him in a Hondo squad is still going to make CLS able to take it out. So I think Pirates are going to be very beneficial with SM33 and Maz. Now we got to talk about Vegito, probably one of my favorite teams in the game by far. And I'm making it a super Vegito team with adding Maul instead of Crew. You could add Crew as a tank. That's very situational, so I probably should have listed it twice, but Maul is in there for some extra fun and extra damage, but Crew is your very safe tank. Scav Ray level 9, obviously we know what that can do. You're hitting insane amounts of damage per relic amplifier level. She's going to hit like a unit, like an absolute unit. But I thought this team was very fun to include. Even on defense, it kind of gets your head scratching a little bit because you don't know who to deal with first. You got 4 really strong characters. Like, I'd get rid of Maul, Star Killer, Scav Ray with her level 9, or Malicos first. All really tough decisions. So, and Seer has a level 9. So that makes it even better for her. Very solid team. And guys, I mean, come on. You guys have watched my Grand Arena videos. I've received so many comments saying I'm the Great Mother Master. And that's not a title I wanted. It was a title I was given. So unfortunately, I am the leader of the Great Mothers. And I can't advocate for this team any more than I already have. They are one of the best non-GL teams in the game. Probably the best marquee team ever to exist, ever. They are so powerful. They can take out Ahsoka with Ezra without a Termitacron. Take out a number of different GLs. They are so strong and have absolutely gotten me to climb into the top 100 without a doubt. On defense, they're not as easy to deal with as a normal squad. If you have the Night Sister Datacron still, which we do, they can hit like a truck. Spirit, the higher relic levels with Foresight, boom, you're going to go goodbye. And we have the Night Trooper level 9, so that's even more powerful with the Omicron. Expect major things from Great Mothers this season. You're going to see me use them every single match. This is the Balin squad that I was referring to. I think this is by far the best Balin squad you can set. You don't want to set the 2 other characters like Kira or OG Hondo. You could break up your Bad Batch and put Mercenary Hunter with Mercenary Wrecker instead. But I do think that OG Hondo poses the greatest threat on defense with Kira. I have lost with JML so many times against this team in 5v5. With the Hondo level 9, it could be even more dangerous. But even on offense or defense, very good squad. Could take out Kenobi, like I said. Very good at taking out a number of different squads. Good banner recovery. Can't go wrong with it. Love Balin. How can we not mention Queen Amidala? And I was worried that without the support Kron, she was going to be back to defense and not as good as offense because I couldn't take out Rey. I was very mistaken. Queen Amidala is still in use on offense. Very strong. I'm going to try it again against Rey to see if I can take her out again. Pair it with Shaak Ti and Echo. Really good control of the battle. Good days. Good offense up. Cleansing. Love Queen Amidala. On defense, it kind of forces a stronger counter like Bane. Echo shuts down a number of other counters like Inquisitors or Great Mothers. Gotta include Queen. Have to include Traya because Traya is very, very good and it makes your opponent question what they want to use against him. That's not overkill. The problem with Traya now is if you do set it on defense, there's Maz Kanata that could absolutely massacre it most likely. But on offense, good banner recovery, good at taking out Gungans, Can't go wrong with them. Always a Kyber 1 staple. You're going to see this team for a very long time. They're not going anywhere. You got to use them on offense or defense. Next is Gungans. Gungans are a flex because they could take out a number of squads on offense, and they makes your opponent question what to use on defense. I think they're better in 5v5 than 3v3. Not as strong of a datacron set for them as the previous, but if you have the light side max health damage level 3, if you have a Terminator Cron, if you have all these other different things with high crit damage, they can hit you pretty damn hard. And they're good at stealing banners. Jar Jar's really annoying with the random death mark. Gonna have a use no matter what. Finn. This team is surprising because I've had opponents in the previous season take out my Ahsoka Tano with Ezra with this squad. So if your opponent has that up and running, be careful if you set your Ahsoka. You might want to change it up a bit because that is good value for them. If you don't use them on offense to do some crazy stuff like that, defense, still annoying. 25% Terminator Cron, Terminator level 6, or the stun level 6. Very nasty stuff. If you get in a Terminator loop, you are doomed. Absolutely doomed. Rose level 9 is also very strong. Great solid team. Gotta talk about General Skywalker. General Skywalker still, as long as he's been in the game, has a use. Can really, on defense, you need a certain datacron set to make him kind of not as weak. If you can kind of trick your opponent, if you set a high potency cron and they go with a CLS, CLS is not good for banners, so your gas can steal banners. High potency can help land days on Chewbacca or 3PO, which really shuts down the counter. So surprisingly, I have gotten holds with gas in the past year in Kyber 1, top 100 gameplay, because of fooling my opponent with the datacron set. So I don't want you guys to underestimate gas. Still a solid team in Kyber 1. Not as tippy top of the spear, but still very good. Then we got to talk about General Grievous. And this guy on offense can take out a Leia squad. On defense, kind of susceptible to a couple things, but he's good at stealing some banners. And that's really good because what you want in Kyber 1 is banner stealing teams. So have to include him on the list with Stap. Not much to say about it. This is a good solid filler team for defense. And can take out a Leia squad, a weak Leia squad on offense if you need it. So that is going to wrap up the best 5v5 squad list for the month of November. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Number of different squads that I've came up with, and I hope performs well in Grand Arena. So really looking forward to this season. I can't wait for it. We're going to see a bunch of Grand Arena gameplay in the top 100. Going to be live streaming. Really looking forward to it. So guys, leave all your opinions on this selection and this list down below. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? What do you have questions on? Leave it all down below. I'm curious about your opinion. So if you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and subscribe to the channel for more content and to become a Knight of Vex. And I'll see you guys in the next video. May the Force be with you all.